out here on a lake I haven't been to in 5 or plus years, Mosquito Lake here in Northeast Ohio, and I'm gonna head out. Man, it's a big lake, so gotta break this down. It's a lot of grass and break out the chatterbait, see what we can do. So take you along for the ride, let's go. All right, I just got done fishing probably like 30-40 minutes now, and I saw a big school just hitting the top of the surface, so I figured I'd throw over there, and it's whatever I had in my hand. I think it was a Neko rig. So got my first fish here, knocked it out. I was like, hey, this might be a good day. Couldn't find them, so I kept moving around. I was like, you know what, this is the only island on Mosquito, so do what I do best. And Mosquito is known for its grass, so figured I'd break out my chatterbaits and just work this island pretty hard, considering it's the only one. Just slow rolling it. There's probably only like a foot or two of clearance between the grass and the top of the water, and so just slowly reeling in, and boom, hits at the boat. I felt I had a pretty good hook set on this, and so I'm using a shorter rod. This is actually a 6/8 topwater rod. I just recently got in the mail a 7/3 rod that's really made for chatterbaits or bladed jigs or whatever you want to call them. So this is a pretty good fish to start the day. So it's like, hey, let's keep on working this island with this chatterbait. So you might be thinking, hey, which chatterbait is he using? Jackhammers are a little outside of my budget, and so this is the Chatterbait Evo, and it's the white color, and I'm trying to think if I remember. So I do remember. The trailer that I have on this bad boy is Tactical Fishing Co. It's their MRE trailer, which is really the only trailer right now I'm using, so I'm having so much luck on it. So this is my second cast, same spot. Haven't been catching them for like an hour and a half. And so, hey, was that a fluke? Was that fish a fluke? Now, you notice what I'm doing right here. I'm getting stuck in the grass. And so, as I'm getting stuck in the grass, there we go. There's another one. Don't consider that a dead cast. A lot of anglers, what they'll do is they'll get their lure stuck in the grass, and they won't rip it out. They'll just kind of bring the blob of grass back to them. So, don't do that. When you get stuck in the grass, rip it out. It has a tendency on the other side of that rip just to get the attention of the bass, and you'll get a trigger strike during that time. So I think I might actually do it. Nope, not on this one. But man, they are just hitting the Evo, and I'm probably, if I remember correctly, this is roughly 6 feet of water. And so I was I was catching them in the 3 to 8 feet of water range. Anytime I moved outside of 8 feet, I had a tendency not to catch them. Also around 8 feet, it was the grass line. It kind of ended and kind of went to near nothing. And then all the way up to 3 feet, it was just getting tough to work a chatterbait through there. And so as you can see, I just ripped out of the grass, keep it coming, ripped out of the grass again, keep it coming. And I must have a follower right now, because I think this is another one that hits at the boat. Let's just wait and see. Nope. It must be the second cast. Just slowly feeling that vibration, keeping it just above the line of, I'm just ticking the top of the grass. Boom, there he is. That's a good one. So a lot of individuals, when fishing the bladed jig, and it doesn't matter which one, is they'll miss a lot of the hook sets, and they'll call it a short strike. What is actually happening is that the human reaction time is 250 milliseconds. So we're talking 0.25 seconds. And so what happens is when that bass comes up to that bait, creates that vortex, right, and sucks that bait into the mouth. A lot of times what anglers will do, within 0.25 seconds, they'll feel it and then set the hook. And it's not enough time for that bass to suck that chatterbait deep down into the mouth. And that's why you're not getting that solid hook set. So there's a variety of different ways that you can remedy this, right? So one, you could fish with your rod at a 45-degree angle, right? And so whenever it does hit, you kind of give, let it take it, suck it in, and then set the hook. Two, you can use the right rod, right? When you use a 7.2, 7.3, and it has a softer tip, whenever the bass sucks it in, that tip's just going to give, and that's how you get that proper hook set. And so, also, a lot of the times, you don't get a really great deep past the barb hook set on the chatterbait. So, keeping slack out of your line whenever you're reeling this fish in is going to be key. So, a lot of individuals will actually lose their bass when they're netting it, right? Because for whatever reason, there's a lot going on in those moments. If that bass gets any type of slack line, whenever you are landing that bass, that's likely when it's going to throw you, is whenever there's slack. I'm a little further out, but this is only like 4 feet of water right now, and still using the chatterbait. Man, they just followed it for a long time. It seemed to be the name of the game. I got a lot of strikes at the boat, so for whatever reason, they followed it. And what I also love to do on the chatterbait, a straight retrieve is great, but a lot of my bites are coming, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So whenever you rip them out of the grass. So a lot of times what you need to do is, if you're not getting them on the straight retrieve, right, you can give it a pop. You can give it a, you can just kill it. You can rip it out of the grass. These are all ways that you're getting that blade to just do something a little different, and so you can get those bites, right? On this particular Evo, I believe the blade is silver, and so when that blade is silver, and it's really not a great day to use silver, the sun wasn't out at all, it was overcast all day, but it would just continue to work. I actually brought out a chatterbait big blade a little bit later, was catching them on those, you'll see that. But you want to be able to utilize that shine on that silver blade, and I think it was helping today. So I moved over, I was like, hey, is the wacky rig. I was getting caught in a lot of grass, and so I have some wacky worms. I think the Yum brand, they don't fall too fast, and so I was like, hey, this might be a good place to throw the wacky worm in it. Yes, it was. So I have some videos on wacky worm fishing, and so what's the easiest way, if you're in the middle of a skunk, you're like, hey, I need to catch some fish, head over there and watch that video on how to catch them with the wacky rig. It's a target strategy, so I'm not going to get too deep into that. But I'm moving over here now. I'm using a new rod of mine. So PC Fun has their Carbon X reels and rods. So I put some braided line on that. That's what's green, and put a fluorocarbon leader on it, about 5 feet. And I thought I had a monster, but it was really, it was really just a small bass and a bunch of grass. All right, so figured I'd go to a couple different spots here. Just got off the phone with my wife.
I love you.
Looking around.
Right.
I was like, hey, you know what? My chatterbait's been working. It's a different part of the lake, pretty shallow. As you can see on the first couple casts here, getting caught in the grass a lot. So not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't want to get caught all the time. So I'm probably sitting in 4 feet of water right now. And I'm casting to maybe 2 feet of water. But all day, they've just been up in the grass. So I figured I'd hit the tip of that timber. I love hitting the tips of timber. So if you ever see that, get as close as you possibly can. A lot of times they'll be sitting on the edges of those timber as an ambush point. Got to remember these bass, they're ambush predators. So just working myself down the line here, and oh, there we go. Got another one. So it wasn't a lot of individuals on the lake. This was midweek, but I was out early, so you can see that big old guardian angel flag. So I'm back at the marina. I figured I'd hook up a Neko rig. So if you haven't checked that out, I got a video. Actually, it's not out yet because I'm currently getting ready to shoot it tomorrow. Yeah. But right on the edge of this marina, it's probably about, it goes to 7 feet, and it's really rocky. And I was talking to some gentlemen there, asked them if they're doing any good. So I reached around to my new PC Fun rod. This is a full carbon rod, and just after a couple tugs on that Neko rig, however you want to say it, I had a pretty nice one. So it felt good. It always feels good to catch bass in front of other people, especially right after they get done telling you they haven't had a whole lot of luck. So kind of nice one. Using Kayak Jack, he sent me some Neko rig heads, kind of button heads. I have it on a Z-Man TRD. I think it's their fatties. So if you're looking to find just a bait that just slams it, as you can see, it flew up the line there. And then you just hook it with a size 1 or a size 1/0, and you get that nice hook set. I like it because it brings it just right down to the bottom of the water column. So if there's any bass down there sitting in the rock, you're just putting it right in front of their face, and they can just dance it. All right, guys, that was a grind today. I picked them up on the Evo chatterbaits and caught them in the grass, 3 to 6 feet here on Mosquito. Had a good time. Broke line off a bunch, missed a bunch of hits, had a bunch of short strikes, but nonetheless had a good time. And if you love these type of videos, I got a bunch more. One right there, one right there. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.